Okay, perfect. Hi, hello everyone. My name is Kayla Williams, and I am in Media Societies class, spring 2024, and I am doing my presentation on media consumption and how does the conflicts of the uses of gratifications theory and priming theory both intersect. So I am going to share my screen, and I would love to start this broadcast and make sure I can share the video of my PowerPoint. So, media consumption, which is the conflict between priming and the uses of gratifications theory. And then I just have the table of contents here for you. I'll give you guys an introduction, who's my target audience, the theories that I'll be talking about, the activation of the priming theory, and the activation of the use of gratifications theory, and then also just my conclusions. And then, of course, my introduction. My name is Kayla Williams. My topic of concern is media consumption, and its importance to me is to teach like the psychological explanation to why media platforms, streaming services, and music outlets shape our perception of our society today. The unique attributes of my target audience is being in middle school to high schoolers. They have a certain broad of mindset and curiosity due to their like physical, emotional damages and changes during this time. It's a phase of puberty, so it's you're questioning everything and anything about yourself. And so, how does my target audience consume media? As a Generation Z, I consume media within Instagram and TikTok. And I've noticed that some students younger than me don't really use those kind of platforms. So I kind of intersected it a little bit and showed that Generation Alpha, which is from 2012 and below, I believe, they are into Roblox and YouTube, Twitch, kind of like that visual aspect of media consumption. And so, how could you relate the thoughts being associated with the message content? And here we are for our first theory, which is priming. What is priming? Priming is the exposure to media communication, which activates related thoughts between the audience and your content message. Why are primes important? Once related thoughts become permanently associated with that content message, it kind of gives an awareness to your viewers to act that certain way or behavior. So priming usually happens without our awareness. And that's why I'm here to teach you that aspect of what priming is in our society. And so the activation of priming is really with the general affective aggression model. And with this, it's split up into two ways. And this first way is how it can violently present to you in a negative way. So it says that the exposure of automatic appraisal and secondary appraisal, which is defined by assuming someone's emotions attached to that specific event or reaction. So your first reaction towards something, and then you're also reacting to it a second time. So the first step is the exposure to a violent crime. It can be hostile. It's definitely hostile because this is a violent priming. Matter of fact, it influences the judgment of how a crime can be judged. So I can say, for examples with this is like celebrity domestic abuse through Chris Brown and Rihanna, and then also like Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. Media violence within like police injustices like the Rodney King riots and the George Floyd protests. So this is how you get a idea of what exposure to crime, like how you are exposed to it. And then the second stance is how the viewer agrees to the stance of the hostility. So I have three questions that kind of pursue you to tell you of how you perceive this idea. And is the message or meaning of the communication? Is the witness aggression perceived justably? And is the intent or the audience identification with its characters? Does the audience identify with this person? And then step three, does the viewer performs more careful secondary appraisal about the reaction? So really this step three is actually taking action of the prime. So it's like once you saw it, like you saw someone um, in George Floyd protest, and they are in the scene, and next you know they're like, oh, I want to loot too. I want to protest. I want to damage some property. But at the same time, like you were primed to do that because that's what new outlets were showing you of what the type of aggression that you're supposed to do within supporting this protest, which was nonviolent. And then I have my last segment of aggressive and non-aggressive tone of message affects the audience's emotional disposition. And meaning with that, like as college students, we are aggressive and that we're supposed to, protest as students. And I would like to say, yes, that is something that I should and will love to do, but we were primed to do that. So we were primed to protest and primed to support guides up, and I support. And then how is this political priming and priming of violence, aggression connected? So the primes are connected through political priming and aggressive priming. And it just shows of what priming is used to explain the short terms of media effects and its violence in political coverage and in the aggressive primes in minorities or as well as like in music streaming platforms that I would like to continue talking about. And then I just have main segues of how priming is social learning. It's associating something. It also has an excitation transfer of you wanting to do that. And then also social interaction. So you telling someone else about how you think and your opinion in your mind. And then you're priming that other person to have that kind of same opinion. So political priming focuses on how media coverage of different events influences information people when making judgments about politicians and politics. And aggressive primes are activated by the neo association model, which influences people's behavior. These thoughts lead to increased likelihood of hostile attribution. So, for example, I had this as when someone cuts you off in traffic, it's an aggression model. Like you're primed to do that because you're already in this state where you're already thought like, I hate traffic. I am so angry. And then someone cuts you off, and then like you're just going ape crazy because that is you primed yourself to influence that. So you had those thoughts of hating traffic, you hate sitting in your car, and then you act on that behavior by either honking your car at the person just because they cut you off, or you hit them in their car with your car. Hopefully that does not happen, but that's how an aggressive prime is reacted. And then how does media priming influence our everyday lives? And this goes into our second theory, the uses of gratifications theory. What is that? Media consumption seek out content to satisfy their cognitive. And what is a cognitive? A cognitive is a mental action that process during the knowledge of understanding that experience. So you seek out media to gratify your brain. So it's like you're feeding your brain candy. And that's what the use of gratifications theory is. And continuing on that aspect, audience selection is based on personal motivation. And this could be either a goal that you feel that you have to pursue into your theory, or it's a need that like you want to escape, that you want to learn, you want to educate yourself in a certain thing, you want to entertain yourself, you want to listen to music. And that's how you kind of fulfill yourself in the use of gratifications theory. And then I use this theory as an example of having a social media platform, either using like Instagram or TikTok. These social platforms help you navigate through the digital world, even connecting through people, telling them happy birthday, wishing them a congratulations on graduation or anything, or even a new career. Um, the negative aspects of that, although we're connecting, we're wanting to meet new people, the negative qualities of social media is doom scrolling and its media usage. I would like to say I have shut down, short down, downsized my media usage on social media platforms due to me trying to submit my finals. But I have downplayed my media usage from at least to 7 hours a day, which is very crazy. I have 24 hours to at least like 4 hours a day. I would like to say 4 to 5. So I cut down like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours from that. And I say that's pretty good. And we should keep doing that. That's how we learn the healthy aspects of diving into the digital world. And I just want to talk about the negative concerns of media and how it's focus centered. And this was my main goal, trying to tell people of what social media platforms are bad for us, its streaming service, how it's bad, and then also how the music service is bad. Just because we consume this media, there's definitely good benefits to it. It's just that we just need to know also sometimes it can change your mood, it can distract you, it can make you a substance abuser, it can promote violence, profanity, sex. Like, it's just a lot of things. Like, you can either isolate yourself, you can distract yourself from education. It's cyberbullying. I just believe that, like, out of all three of these platforms that we have in the digital world, you should also know about its negative concerns rather than focusing on its positivity of always getting information fast or even helping you out with homework. It's just certain aspects that is just harder for you to maintain by consuming media. And the conclusions that I have for you is that media platforms is the best way to connect with others, like I said before. But scrolling through free feeds can become unhealthy and an addiction, especially at a young age. And then media priming influences our perceptions and behaviors by shaping the way individuals interpret information and events. The usage of gratification theory emphasizes how individuals actively select media to fulfill their needs and desires by offering that kind of insight of motivation to the media consumer patterns. So if you notice that, like, you have like a TV show like watch later or maybe should watch or a favorites list, you're creating like an algorithm for yourself as a uses of gratifications um, to have that platform understand you as a person. And then I just want to say thank you guys for listening to my TED Talk. No, I'm just kidding. My PowerPoint on media consumption within priming and the uses of gratifications theory. And here I have a little works cited list of the textbook that I have used in the media in society class and media effects. And thank you guys so much and have a blessed day.